Salam Israel, this is ISUPK, started out of 1 West Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. Once again, history class and archaeology. Bringing what I'm about to bring today um, as a history of last month. Tried to get it at last week, but soon we have a technical difficulty, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring it all out. Bring out a few things. History of February, the reason why it's so many days, and not only February, but in the rest of the months. And all this got to deal with Roman. That's how we know we living in a Roman society right now. America is nothing but offspring of Romans. From the way they act, from what they did, from the whole nine. Well, actually, America is both. America is both Roman and Egypt. They both love, that nation. There's many reasons why. I know a few reasons. They deal with it. But mostly they are offspring of Romans. Uh, that's where you get the Roman numerals. That's where you get the Gregorian calendar. The whole nine. And that's why they follow the months after Roman gods. You know, which went down. Roman and Greek is damn near the same thing. That's because if you look at the history, the white man he only has a little bit of history. He don't have much history. The only history that's why he got to steal everybody else's history. That's why he make movies. He's playing all the good parts, all the good parts, from Christ on down the line. The white man playing because he has no history. The only history he has is Greek, Romans, and America. That's really the only history we got, and each one of those nations times are full of homosexual murderers, which is the white man today, the homosexual murder. So now we're gonna go into February. Fabiru, what they call Fabru, or however you want to say it. The Feast of Purification. A few weeks ago we had deal with Lupercilia and the whole thing where they took hide, and beat their women so they was fertile, the whole nine. And the whole month of February has a whole bunch of nonsense in it. Just a whole bunch of nonsense in it. But mostly this month is for purification, and we're gonna read a little bit about it. Go ahead. You can start on that first story. You can start that tradition.
Tradition says that Numa Pompilius.
So Numa, this is Numa Pompilius. Now Numa Pompilius is he's the second king or the second emperor of Rome, uh, followed behind Romulus. Now you hear that name Romulus a lot because Romulus is, you know, he started Rome. He started the whole Roman culture, the whole everything. So Romulus, that's a very popular name. And this guy, uh, Pompeius, it's like what was his name again?
Numa
Pompeius. He's legendary too because
Pompilius.
he was put on. He's the effigy. If you effigy means he's the model, or he's a sculpture or model on that coin. So when you look at like an old Roman coin, and you see that face on there, it's this guy Numa Pompeius. It's this guy, and he was an emperor from. He was born in 712 BC, but he was an emperor in between 753 to 675 BC or something like that, somewhere around that time. You know what I'm saying? And he was in the reign of Augustus. He was around that time. But go ahead.
Tradition says that Numa Pompilius, the legendary second Roman king, from 715 to 672 BC, added the months of Januarius and Februarius from the previously named from the previous for the previously unnamed period.
So Romulus, the person who made Rome, he also made the religious calendar, you know, and that he started the whole religious nonsense in Rome, right? When it first started, it only started with 10 months, right? So then Pompilius came and he added 2 more months. Go ahead.
Julius Caesar revised the lengths of the months in his calendar reform. He gave February 28 days, except for every fourth year when he added an extra day between February 23rd and 24th.
So next week we're gonna go into that whole thing about that. But keep going.
Not at the end of the month as it is now. The name Februarius came about because of the Roman ceremonies of religious purification and an epitaph which took place during the month in anticipation of the new year, which originally started on March 1st.
So right there, you know, we gonna say in our Hebrew culture that it starts in between end of March, early April, you know, during Passover. That's what we gonna say. But even at the beginning of the Roman culture, the New Year didn't start to March. Later on down the road, until we get into America, New Year started on January 1st. That's the New Year. But even at the beginning of Roman culture, it's the March 1st. You know, but that's something else. I'll sidebar. Go ahead, keep going.
The most important festival in February was the Lupercalia.
Lupercalia. So we got into that a couple weeks ago about the whole festival of Lupercalia from February 13th to 15th. Go ahead.
The ancient feast of fruitfulness or fertility on February 15th. The Lupercalian festival was an ancient fertility rite whose origins are lost in antiquity and may even predate civilization. These religious rites were under the supervision of a group of priests called the Luperci that was divided into two colleges
Quantitalia.
called Quantitalia Quantitalia
And Fabiani.
and Fabiani, and each was in charge of a magistry. In 44 BC, a third college, the Lupercalia Iuli, was established in honor of Julius Caesar, and on February 15th of that year, Mark Antony, as its magister, offered to make Caesar king, just a month before Caesar's assassination. The Lupercalian rites began as the priests gathered in the cave of Lupercal on the southwestern part of the Palatine Hill.
Now it's gonna go into what it was about. Go ahead.
The priests sacrificed goats and young dogs to the god Phanos, after which the foreheads of two young Luperci of high rank were smeared with the blood of the victims. Later, the blood was wiped off with wool dripped in milk. Then the ritual required the two young men to laugh. After a sacrificial feast, they stripped themselves naked.
They did what?
They stripped themselves naked.
Why, Romans? Why?
And put on a loin skin from the skins of the slain goats. Holding strips of the hides, they ran around the walls of the old Palestine community, hitting and snapping at all of those they came close to.
So
especially women.
So this is the feast of purification and what it was about. Now, like I said, that and this month they had different, you know, ceremonies they did, but this whole month was the feast of purification, and during this month, you know, this is what they did. Can you read that? Go back to they're the priests.
That what?
They're the priests. They're the priests sacrifice
okay.
goats. Read that again. I want you to listen to this. This is what, you know, the whole month was really about.
There the priests sacrificed goats and a young dog to the god Phanos.
So this month is about sacrificing goats and a young dog, as in a puppy, to
Phanos.
the god Famus, Fanmus, however you want to pronounce it. We speak a different language. We speak English because it was beat into us. Just like off the movie Roots, when he kept saying my name Kunta, he's like, no, your name Toby. That's the same way that we got beat and start speaking English. So we don't really know how to pronounce this trash, language. Famoose, famoose, however you want to pronounce it. You keep going.
After which the foreheads of two youthful luperci of high ranks were smeared with the blood of the victims. Later the blood was wiped off with wool dipped in milk. Then the ritual required that two young men then the ritual required the two young men to laugh. After a sacrificial feast, they stripped themselves naked and put on a loinskin from the skins of the slain goats. Holding strips of hides, they ran around the walls of the Palestine community, hitting and snapping at all of those they came close to, especially women, in action which was believed to bring fertility, even to the barren women, and a safe delivery in childbirth.
So these two lupercy young men, from
Palatine, I'm sorry.
from the college or whatever, were stripped naked, throwing this animal skin, and they would run around full speed, just running, and they will snap people. They're like, bomb, bomb, and people will put, people in line, especially the women, so they can get hit like plow, so they be fertile, what I'm saying, able to have children, what I'm saying. So this is, and there's a story about, I think it's actually in the story that we're gonna read next about Shakespeare, William Shakespeare, which is a black man. If you go back and see William Shakespeare is a black man, but he had put his rib in the line of well, these young men rolling around snapping just so his women can become fertile, and they have kids. Which I don't know why they were so hard to have kids back then. I don't know what was going around, but Slock, that's all. You can keep going.
Um, the goat skin thongs were called februa, purifiers which were derived from
The,
februo.
let's read that again.
The goat skin thongs were called februa.
So, so February, which really is called February or February, it is what they call goat skin thongs. That's the real name of it, the goat skin thongs. Keep going.
The goat skin thongs were called februa, purifiers which was derived from februo, to purify the day of purification.
So February really comes from the name February, which come from goat skin thongs.
William Shakespeare made use of the feast of
Yes,
Lupercal when he had Julius Caesar tell his barren wife Calphurnia to stand you directly in Antonio's way when he doth run his course. Then he instructed Mark Antony, forget not in your speed, Antonio, to touch Calphurnia, for our elders say, the baron, touched in his holy chase, shake off their sterile curse.
So, like I was just explaining, William Shakespeare, which is a black man, put his rib in a line of it, and he told Antonio, he's like, when you running and during your speed, those speed past my rib, my wife, I want you to snap her, boom, because she's sterile. For some reason she's sterile. and that brings fertility. So he put her in the line to get snapped. Wow. You keep going.
The Lupercalia was observed well into the Christian era. It is said that Pope Gelasius I introduced the feast of purification of the Virgin Mary, called Candlemas, in 494 AD, to counteract the excess of the pagan celebrations of the Lupercalia. The Saxons called the month of February Solomonus, in recognition of the returning strength of the sun.
So they're in different, you know, in different nations. Well, from different nations, from Greek to Romans, they basically the same gods. They just name them different. You know what I'm saying? We had brought that out a couple weeks ago. About whole Cupid or erotic. It's the same gods. They just name them differently. So this is just another section of Rome called the Anglo-Saxons. I don't know if that ring a bell, but the Saxons, called the month Samanama, but it's all still February, or February, which is called now, which is goat skin thongs. You know what I'm saying? And the brother just read how they run around, snap their woman, to get them fertile, because they were sterile. Like I said, for some apparent reason, I'm gonna have to go into that and see why. Why was all these women sterile, and why they had a specific month out of this month where they had to have somebody run by, you know, in animal skin and goat skin thongs and snapping people and snapping with especially women. They throw their women in the line of that running. Boom, get snapped on. Well, that's February. That's the Feast of Purification. And that's what it's about. Next week I'm gonna go into March and what March and that God was about. But like I said, Feast of Purification. They for the god Famos. They sacrifice goats and young puppies and the whole nine. Now we about to go into um, the reason why, because we read it earlier a little bit ago how they changed the dates. You know what I'm saying? Now we're gonna go in little in depth about the reason why it's 28 days, leap year is 29 days, and why the rest of the months got 30, 31 days. And I always hear people be like, why Black History gotta be on the shortest month? Well, we're gonna go a little bit about that, and since February for them was a day that they recognized the dead, you know, it's ain't a coincidence that they made February for black folks to recognize the dead. It's all in the same thing. But we're gonna go into the. You can pull up that next story. Hold on a second. Let me get it with you.
Which one? Wired or only 28 days? Celebrating.
Yeah, I think that's what it's this one. The one right. I just put them in line.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Slack. Yeah, let's read this other story real quick before we get into. Yeah, you can pull up that next story. Before we get into that days, we're gonna read just a little bit more about that whole festival in February. And get a little bit more. Yeah, the time of purification. We're gonna read just a little bit more. Maybe just read a little bit, and then we're gonna get into that 28 days. The reason why it's 28 days.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Februalia, a time of purification.
Uh-huh.
The ancient Romans had a festival for nearly everything, and if you were a god, you almost always got your own holiday. Februus, for whom the month of February is named, was a god associated with both death and purification.
So both death and purification. Go ahead.
In some writings, Februus is considered the same god as Fwan because their holidays were celebrated so closely together. Understanding the Roman calendar, the festival known as Febru- Februalia was held near the end of the Roman calendar year. And to understand how the holiday changed over time, it helps a bit to know the calendar's history. Originally, the Roman year had only 10 months. They counted out 10 months between March and December and basically disregarded the dead months of January and February. Later, the Etruscans came along and added these 2 months back into the equation. In fact, they planned to make January the first month, but the explosion of the Etruscan dynasty prevented this from happening. And so March 1st was considered the first day of the year. February was the February was dedicated to Februus, a god
Go ahead.
a god not unlike Dis or Pluto, because it was the month in which Rome was purified by making offerings and sacrifices to the gods of the dead. Ancient history expert Ines Gill has some great information on the terminology found in the Roman calendar.
Um, skip down to. Oh, now you can read the Vesta Heart Goddess. You can read that.
Okay. Vesta, the hearth goddess. At any rate, because of the association with fire as a method of purification, at some point the celebration of Februalia became associated with Vesta, a hearth goddess, much like the Celtic
Celtic
the
brickhead.
brickhead, the Celtic brickhead.
Brickhead. Yep.
Not only that, February 2nd is also considered the day of Juna Februa, the mother of the mother of war, the mother of war, god of Mars. I thought it was Mars, god of war.
The mother of war god Mars.
Okay, the mother of war, god. No, okay, I'm reading it wrong. My bad. My bad. Wrong context. Not only that, February 2nd is also considered the day of Juna Februa, the mother of war god Mars. There is a reference to this purification holiday in Ovid's Fasti, which in which he says, which that is a book, Ovid's Fasti.
Yeah. You can read that little quote and then drop down.
Okay. In which he says, in short, anything used to cleanse our bodies went by that name of Februa in the time of our unshorn forefathers. The month is called after these things, because the leprosy purified the whole ground with stripes of hide, which are their instruments of cleansing.
So once again, going in, like I said, different cultures will start naming it the same thing, but it'll be basically the same thing. Now let's skip down to celebrating Februaria today.
Celebrating Februalia today. If you're a modern pagan who would like to observe Februalia as part of your spiritual journey, there are a number of ways you can do so. Consider this a time of purging and cleansing. Do a thorough pre-spring cleaning where you get rid of all the things that no longer bring you joy and happiness.
Read that again. I know y'all heard this before.
Do a thorough pre-spring cleaning where you get rid of all the things that no longer bring you joy and happiness.
That's where that come from, where they say spring cleaning. That's where spring cleaning comes from. It started with that, and then because that was started as spring cleaning as your inner self. You know what I'm saying? And then it went on later on to be spring cleaning, clean your house. When you know, I know my parents use it. Time for spring cleaning. You know what I mean? Where they take the whole house and flip it for spring. But that's where it come from. You keep going.
Taking out with the old, in with the new approach, and eliminate the excess stuff that's cluttering your life, both physically and emotionally.
So that's both physically. So they take it as spring cleaning now. When they say spring cleaning, you know, you like, oh man, we about to do some deep cleaning now. We about to get in corners, edges, everything in the house. It ain't been in all year. Where this where it come from? Something pagan again. You know, just pagan all down the way, all down the line. Just pagan, pagan. You can read that next paragraph. Yeah, you read that next paragraph. I'm gonna drop it.
Um, all right. If you're someone who has a hard time letting go of things, rather than just throwing stuff out, rehome it to friends who will show it some love. This is a good way to eliminate clothes that no longer fit, books you don't plan to read again, or household goods that don't do anything but gather dust. You can also take home you can also take some time to honor the goddess Vesta in her role as a deity of home, hearth, as a deity of home, hearth, and domestic life as a way of celebrating Februaria. Make offerings of wine, honey, milk, olive oil, or fresh fruit as you begin rituals. Light a fire in Vesta's honor as you sit before it. Offer her a prayer, chant, or song that you wrote yourself. If you can't light a fire, it's okay to keep a candle burning to celebrate Vesta. Just be sure to extinguish it when you're finished. Spend some time on domestic crafts such as cooking and baking, weaving, needle arts, or woodworking.
So this is what you know in modern times celebrating February. You know, spring cleaning. That's how you celebrate it. You know, like the brother just read, doing all that nonsense. That's how you celebrate Vesta, the goddess. You know, which Vesta came from, Famus, Fabruz. You know, there's a switch of name, but that's just a god in Rome. You know, and then the goddess will switch to the goddess on down the line to February and how you celebrate and doing spring cleaning. So, so by default, when your parents tell you the it's time for spring cleaning, they're actually celebrating February. Consciously, they don't even know. They actually, I'm not even gonna say consciously. They don't know. Period. That's the reason why it was passed down the line because they heard it from somebody. Just like you hearing it from your parents. Your parents heard it from their parents, which heard it from their parents. That spring cleaning. It's time for spring cleaning. Which came from worshiping or celebrating Februaria, which is the Vestas, that goddess, which went back to Fabrus, you know, or Famos, that god in Rome. So all that down the line is pagan, you know, and I know that's probably hitting you like you didn't even know, celebrating, doing spring cleaning because everybody do spring cleaning. I don't know nobody that don't talk about doing spring cleaning. Spring cleaning, spring cleaning. Like they let everything build up, and then it's time for spring cleaning, and that is a celebration of February. Now let's get into why it's so many days in this month and why it's so many days in other months. Hold on, let me pull that story up with you. It's about this is and we read before how it was only 10 months, and they put January and February in there. Now we're gonna see the reason why they put January and February, and that March 1st was the beginning of the new year. Not January 1st. That was later put in. March 1st. Even I'm still not agreeing with March 1st, but I'd rather hear March 1st than January 1st. When it's still cold outside, it's still dead outside, snow outside, ain't nothing alive outside. How is new? What's new? New when it's cold. And it was cold back in Rome, back in Israel. All them areas was cold. So how was it new? Ain't nothing new about that. But you can go into that next story.
Why are there only 28 days in February? Each month in the modern Gregorian calendar consists of at least 28 days. That number would be a nicely rounded 30 were it not for February. While every month besides the second in the calendar contains at least 30 days, February falls short with 28 and 29 on leap year. So why is the most widely used calendar in the world so inconsistent in lengths of its months? And why is February stuck in the fewest number of days? Blame it on Roman superstition. The Gregorian calendar's oldest ancestor, the first Roman calendar, had a glaring difference in structure from its later variants. It consisted of 10 months rather than 12. In order to fully sync the calendar with the lunar year, the Roman king Numa Pompilius added January and February to the original 10 months.
So that that Roman king or emperor that we read about, Numa Pompilius. You know how he added a 10, like we read about a second ago. Keep going.
The previous calendar had 6 months of 30 days and 4 months of 31 days for a total of 304 days. However, Numa wanted to avoid having even numbers in his calendar, as Roman superstitions at the time held that even numbers were unlucky. He subtracted a day from each of the 30-day months to make them 29. The lunar year consists of 355 days, 350 354.367 to be exact, but calling it 354 would have made the whole year unlucky, which meant that he now had 56 days left to work with. In the end, at least 1 month out of the 12 needed to contain an even number of days. This is because of simple mathematical fact. The sum of any even amount, 12 months, of odd numbers will always equal an even number. And he wanted the total to be odd. So Numa chose February, a month that would be host of Roman rituals honoring the dead, as the unlucky month to consist of 28 days.
So he said this is an unlucky month. Like I said, February is a month full of a whole bunch of disgusting festivals from Romans. Romans are disgusting people anyway. Romans, Greeks, you know, on down the line to America, just disgusting. Esau is disgusting, you know. So they made February because they had a whole bunch of these festivals. The unlucky month. The unlucky month. You can keep going.
Despite changes in the calendar as it was altered after Numa's additions, alterations that include the shortening of February at certain intervals, the addition of a leap month, and eventually the modern leap day, February's 28-day length has stuck.
So so because of mathematical reasons, that's the reason why. That's the reason why February only had 28 days. Now they people be like, why Black History Month only falls in February when we only got 28 days, which is the unlucky month. The unlucky month, and the reason why. Well, we're gonna get into that story next of who made it. Who started. Because it started from Negro Week. You know what I'm saying? And then the reason why it was put into the unlucky month. So February is the unlucky month. It was considered the unlucky month, so they made it the shortest days. And because of mathematical reasons, it can only be 28 days, and then the leap year 29, so it can even out. Because what there's 354 days in a year, they want to be that on purpose. They want to put all the even numbers, get all even numbers they can, and along with equal numbers, all uneven odd numbers, to make an even number. But the reason why they did it was because of mathematical reasons. These Romans, are super superstitious. These Romans, they made gods out of anything. They made gods out of they bottle water. They make a god off. They love making god, and they were superstitious. So that's the reason why February was only 28 months. It wasn't nothing super deep, nothing super crazy, or none of that. It was because of mathematical reasons, because they were very superstitious. Now, let's see. Okay, now we're gonna go into Black History Month. I'm just gonna read a little bit about Black History Month. Who started? The brother Carson who started. Um, it was originally a week, and then it became the month of February, the unlucky month. Should have known. Should have known they were gonna give us the unlucky month. To to I'm gonna say worship the dead, but I don't want to say worship because you know anybody else know it went to worshiping, but it started in the line just to remember, remember these days, these black folk, that created everything. And if I pull up a list of everything black folk created, you be asking the question, what did white folk, you know, make? What did they create? If I pull up the list, I mean, black folk created damn near everything. Everything you think of, it was stolen from us, because that's what white folk do. That's what Esau do. They see something good and they steal it. They see a good land, they steal it. That's why the scriptures say what was given to Esau, the fat of the land, you know, because they say that, he was given the sword. He lived by the sword, and that's exactly what he do. He take that sword, which is the nowadays guns, tanks, military might, the whole nine, and he go take over. He go he go steal every land, every fat piece of land, the white man is on. Every piece of land you can think of right now, the white man has touched. Has went there, robbed, murdered, killed, raped, the whole nine, has stolen everything. The biggest one is America. The biggest one is North, Central, and South America. They came, robbed, you know, stole, raped, murdered, the whole nine. Everything you think of, that's what they did. Cause that's what the white man do. He has no history of his own. He has nothing of his own. That's what he do. He come and steal. But now let's get into February. Um,
Black History Month.
yeah.
Black History Month. Black History Month is an annual observance originating in the United States, where it is also known as African American History Month. It has received official recognition from governments in the United States and Canada, and more recently has been observed unofficially in Ireland, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. It began as a way for remembering important people and events in the history of African
Diaspora.
dysphoria.
Even though we know we ain't African, but that's what the white man call us. They call us African.
It is celebrated in February in the United States and Canada, while in Ireland, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom, it is observed in October.
Let that make you wonder. Well, why everywhere, there, everywhere else besides, what was it? America, Canada, United States and Canada.
United States and Canada, Ireland,
February,
Netherlands, and the United Kingdom
in
observed in
October,
October.
but United States and Canada, February, the unlucky month. Go down to click that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now this is who started Black History.
Negro History Week, 1926. The precursor to Black History Month was created in 1926 in the United States when historian Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History announced the second week of February to be Negro History Week. This week was chosen because it coincided with the birthday of Abraham Lincoln on February 12th.
So, like I brung out, uh, not last week, the week before, on how George Washington and Abraham Lincoln birthdays both was um, in February, so they just made it President's Day. That's where your whole President's Day. So this brother named Carter Woodson said, "Hey, let's make it a month with Abraham Lincoln, cause Abraham Lincoln, quote unquote, you know, freed the slaves, you know, emancipation, which to this day they ain't free, you know, but that's what they want to tell you. But keep going.
This week was chosen because it coincided with the birthday of Abraham Lincoln on February 12th and of Frederick Douglass on February 14th, both of which dates black communities had celebrated together since the late 19th century. Negro History Week was the center of the equation. The thought process behind the week was never recorded, but scholars acknowledge two reasons for its birth: recognition and importance. Woodson felt deeply that at least one week would allow for the general movement to become something annually celebrated. Also, after the 10-year long haul to successfully complete his Journal of Negro History, he realized the subject deserved a resonance with a greater audience. From the event's initial phase, primary emphasis was placed on encouraging the coordinated teaching of history of American blacks in the national public schools. The first Negro History Week was met with a lukewarm response, gaining the cooperation of departments of education of the states of North Carolina, Delaware, and West Virginia, as well as the city school administrations of Baltimore and Washington, D.C. Despite this far from universal acceptance, the event was regarded by Woodson as one of the most fortunate steps ever taken by the association. The plan the plans for a repeat of the event on an annual basis continued apace. At the time of Negro History Week's launch, Woodson contended that the teaching of black history was essential to ensure the physical and intellectual survival of the race within the border society. Quote, if a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition. It becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated. The American Indian left no continuous records. He did not appreciate the value of tradition. And where is he today? The Hebrew keenly appreciated the value of tradition, as it attested, as it is attested by the Bible itself. In spite of worldwide persecution, therefore, he is a great factor in our civilization.
Keep on.
End quote. By 1929, the Journal of Negro History was able to note that, with only two exceptions, officials with the state departments of education of every state with a considerable Negro population had made the event known to that state's teachers and dis, and distributed official literature associated with the event. Churches also played a significant role in the distribution of literature in association with Negro History Week during this initial interval, with the mainstream and black press aiding in the publicity effort. Negro History Week was met with an enthusiastic response. It prompted the creation of Black History Clubs, an increase in the interest among teachers, and interest from progressive whites. Negro History Negro History Week grew in popularity throughout the following decades, with mayors across the United States endorsing it as a holiday. On February 21st, 2016, 106 106-year Washington, D.C. resident and school volunteer Virginia McLaurin visited the White House as a part of Black History Month. When asked by the president why she was there, McLaurin said, "A black president, a black wife, and I'm here to celebrate Black history.
All right,
That's what I'm here for."
hold that right there. Now that was getting into the. It's like this.
Yeah, please.
I have to get you up. Yo, he do nothing, dog.
Yeah, right.
Now that was the whole history about how it started off as a week, and then he got into the month. And the reason why he put it into February was actually because of this brother. It wasn't actually, you know, Esau or the white man that put that there. This brother, which was confused, you know, said let's I wanted in February to align with Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, you know, birthday. So when now you Israelites be like, why we only get 28 days? Well, it's because of Carter Woodson. Carter Woodson wanted the unlucky month. And like I said, without him even knowing, the same way with whole spring cleaning, without him even knowing, he picked the unlucky month. He picked the month where people worship the dead.
Because of Frederick Douglass.
Yeah, because of Frederick Douglass, Abraham Lincoln. So he without even knowing this, he didn't even. Now I'm saying he didn't know this. He could have noticed, but from what it looked like, he just did it because of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, not knowing that he picked the month, the unlucky month, the month where it's full of festivals from Romans and worshiping Roman gods and worshiping the dead. He picked the month where we're supposed to remembrance the black folk, that died, that the inventors, the whole nine, that put. He picked that month coincidentally. Now saying I don't know if he knew that or not. That part, no, you can just read United States Black History Month. Just read those couple paragraphs, and then we're gonna drop it. And then we're gonna go into. Now, like I said, it's okay. It's cool if you want to show your kids about Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, George Washington Carver, you know, all them you know, Israelites, we gonna call them, but y'all call them African Americans, which we know they ain't. Well, then we know that's two separate countries, you know. But Israelites that was before us and what they did for us, Underground Railroad, invented the bulb light, the whole nine, the whole nine. But I'm gonna get into with something that you need to teach them also. But go ahead and just read that.
United States Black History Month, 1970. Black History Month was first proposed by black educators and the Black United States at Kent State University in February 1969. Black United students, excuse me. The first celebration of Black History Month took place at Kent State 1 year later, from January 2nd, 1970, February 28th, 1970. 6 years later, Black History Month was being celebrated all across the country in educational institutions, centers of black culture, and community centers, both great and small. When President Gerald Ford recognized Black History Month during the celebration of the United States bicentennial, he urged Americans to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of black Americans in every era of endeavor throughout our history.
Um, just read the Canada the one real quick. I just want to bring that up. The reason why Canada do it because people should know that black people was in Canada, but I wanted to just read that.
Canada, 1995. In 1995, after a motion by politician Jean Augustine, representing the riding of Etobicoke, Lakeshore in Ontario, Canada's House of Commons, officially recognized February as Black History Month and honored Black Canadians. In 2008, Senator Donald Oliver moved to have the Senate officially recognize Black History Month, which was uh, how you call it,
Slock, where you
unanimously approved. Is that
at?
it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Unanim- unanimously.
Unanimous, yeah, yeah. Slock, but that was the reason why Canada uh recognized is because of the black people that was in Canada. Because we know we spread it out across the four corners. And the Levi is mostly in Canada. Now we got Judah there. We got all the tribes there. But what most of we even got we got a lot of not knowing or people could know but not knowing we got a lot of the 10 tribes there too. Often that they just ain't talked about. But a lot of the 10 tribes, a lot of the Native Americans are up in Canada. In all them little countries, not found, not messed with, off in Canada. But we got a lot of Levi there. You know what I'm saying? Hella Levi is in Canada, but they recognize it because of it, the black folks. That's in thing. Now let's get into what's the time? Yeah, let's get into what we should be showing our kids. We can show them that, but this is what we should be showing them. This is what you need to bring out, and not just the month of February, the whole 12 months, everything, the whole 12 months. This is what you should be showing them. We don't care about no February. We don't care about none of the festivals. Because what did I say in Ecclesiastes 7:7? Smelling your assemblies. He don't care about them festivals. He don't care about none of your festivals going on. You know. But we about to get into showing that the people of this book right here are black. This is black history right here. This is black history. The Bible. And you know, as growing up, they try to tell you that, there's a bunch of white people in there. Christ is white, the whole nine. But and actually, if you actually pick that up, it'll show that they all black. From Christ, King Solomon, King David, Adam and Eve, on down the line. On down the line. Who was the last person in there? Besides Christ, what was it? John the Patmos? On down the line, they was all black. They was all black. Now let's get into it and show that. So first we're gonna go into Christ. You can pull up Revelation. Revelation start at 1. Now I went into this a couple weeks ago about Christ, and him being from the tribe of Judah, and the Judites being black to the ground. But we about to go into it a little bit more. Go ahead and start Revelation 1 and 1.
The Revelation chapter 1 verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
The revelation of Jesus Christ.
The what?
The revelation of Jesus Christ.
So what is it to reveal to revelation? Let us get rid of the answer. What is revelation? Revelation is to reveal So now they about to reveal what Christ, is about and what he looked like. Keep going.
The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass.
Go ahead and drop down to 12. You can drop out to 12.
Revelation chapter 1 verse 12. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks.
So this is John Patmos. And he turned around because he see who was this speaking to me? And it says 7 candlesticks, which is the 7 churches, and the 7 churches is, the seven schools that all was under the Spirit of Christ. Because even though they was in different cities, they all was one body, one baptism. We call it, we say that's one West right there. But they was all under the Spirit of Christ. Keep going.
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man.
So we all know, even you Christians know who the Son of Man is. So this is the revealing of the Son of Man. Go ahead.
Clothed with a garment down to the foot.
So he had a garment on down to the foot. And y'all like to call us Power Rangers. Well, call Christ one. Because he wear the same garments we had on down to the foot.
And a girt about the paps with the golden girdle.
So he had a golden girdle. If you pull up any UPK video, when we on the street, you can see we got the garment on, with a girdle on. But this one was gold. Christ had a beautiful gold girdle on. And you know what that also says? That Christ was warlike. Because that's warrior gear. Christ, they don't get confused with that whole white Jesus and that sheet he was wearing. He was carrying around a sheet. No, this is nothing like that sheet that they put on that white man. This was a garment, a beautiful garment, and it had a war. And what do they wear the girdle for? You know why they wear the girdle? The girdle is for so you can stand up strong. You ain't slouched over or nothing. Because when you go into war and you see a bunch of men strong standing like this, that's intimidation. So they wore girdles. Also, what they put their weapons in, but they wore girdles because it makes you. If you ever put a girdle on, it makes you stand tall and stand up. That's the reason why Israelites wore girdles. But Christ had a golden girdle on. He was flexing on them. He was flexing on them. He had a golden girdle. Keep going.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So his head right here, and his hairs on his face were white like wool. Keep going.
As white as snow.
As white as snow. This is the history you need to be bringing up.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
And the reason why his eyes is 2 things why his eyes are a flame of fire. 2 things. One is because we all know Christ drank wine. And they call him the wine bibber, so his eyes is always right. But when Christ came back, at this point in time when Christ come back, Christ is coming back for vengeance. Christ is coming back to kill. That's why I say it looked like his vest has been dipped in wine. That's how bloody his vestige is, his outfit that he got on. That's how bloody it is. Christ ain't coming back for no hugs, no kisses, no I love you, I love this. Christ coming back to chop heads off. He keep chopping heads off. All the heathens, all the other nations, and Israelites, that when he dropped down and they ain't following what they supposed to be following, he's slicing their head off and watching it roll. And the ones that follow him getting took in the chariots, getting taken up, and then they're going to go to war. They go superpowers, like the Bible speak of, and the Esau and all of them going to be trying to run and hide into caves, and we're going to snatch them out of there. Get up out of there. You ain't hiding from us. We know you love the caves, but you ain't hiding there. But Christ's eyes was flame fire because he was mad, because he knows vengeance, for what the Edomites plus the other nations is doing to the 12 tribes. Keep going.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
So you pull out brass. You got a penny? Now, read that again.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
So, this is brass right here. This is brass. It's a derivative of brown. Brass right here. Now, keep going.
As if they burned in a furnace.
So, if you take this and you burn it in the furnace, what color you gonna get? That's the color of Christ. You gonna get black. That's the color of Christ. Christ is a black man. Christ is not no white man with no blue eyes, no stringy hair, wearing a tablecloth, walking around. That's Cesar Borgia. That's who that is. And one time I'm gonna bring up the history on that homosexual. You know, that was having sex with his mom. That's who they made into Jesus. But here in the Bible, it tells you that Jesus is a black man with woolly hair. Who else got woolly hair? Black folk. That's who got woolly hair. Now go to Slocky. Go to Daniel 7 and 9. Go to Daniel 7:9, because now see, uh, John the Patmos seen what Christ looked like. But guess who? Guess who back it up? Guess who can back that up? Daniel actually seen what, because Daniel and Christ, they wasn't in the same era. So this is another sighting of what Christ looked like to back that up. And this is Daniel, and we know Daniel in the whole scene. You know, the wars that's happening in the nations, the leaders of those nations with the whole 10 horns and the whole 9. But he actually seen what Christ looked like, and seen what the Most High looked like. Contrary to popular belief, you know, you ask a Christian, you know, God ain't had no color, Jesus ain't had no color. You know, that's what they tell you. And then to somebody who don't know the truth will actually believe that. I actually believe that at one point in time that God didn't have no color, or Christ didn't have no color. And then it came a point in time that I knew Christ couldn't be no white man. This is before the truth. This is before the truth.
You want Daniel 7?
Yeah, give me Daniel 7 and 9.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
Oh, Salaki. Go to Daniel 10 and 5.
Daniel chapter 10, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man,
Okay.
clothed in linen.
So just like John the Patmos seen, he seen the same brother, clothed down with a garment on. So this is Daniel speaking. We just was in talking about John, what John seen. Now this is Daniel seeing the same sighting. Keep going.
Whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz.
Same gold girdle that I just spoke about. You know, Salaki, I got the shirt on. This is what we speaking about. Keep going.
His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning.
So his body, the color he had on was green, like beryl. Beryl was green, so he had a green garment on. You know, and his face was lightning. Why was his face lightning? Because when you look upon Christ, it was a look of amazement, of glory. Not only that, it's a look of intimidation. Because when you look at a brother with light, like let's say you see a brother who just look crazy. You look at that brother, you're like, whoa. You're like, what's wrong with this brother? Well, that Christ had that look. Christ had that look. The face of thunder. Go ahead.
And his eyes as a lamp of fire.
So the same way Christ had this vengeance, plus he drunk wine, but Christ also had this vengeance. You know, his eye was fire. You know, same as here. Same as right there. Christ's eyes is red. Keep going.
And his arms and feet like in color to polished brass.
To what?
To polished brass.
White man. Go ahead.
And the voice
No,
of
no, read that again. That
uh,
polished brass again.
and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass.
Polished brass. Once again, this is Daniel seeing this. Christ is a black man, not no white man, not no Chinese man, not none of that. Christ was a black man from the tribe of Judah. Give me Hebrews 7:14. So we show that Christ is from Judah.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 14. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah.
That what?
That our Lord sprang out of Judah.
Sprang out of Judah. So this is Christ. Came out of Judah, which is the Negroes. Now give me Jeremiah 14:2. So Christ came out of Judah. Now let's see what the rest of Judah looked like. You know, we just seen that Christ was a black man. We just read two people in the Bible. Some
Jeremiah
prophets.
14.
14:2. The prophets about Christ being black, and they both seen this. Two separate people or two separate eras. Both seen the same thing.
Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2. Judah mourneth.
Judah what?
Judah mourneth.
So this said Judah gonna be in mourning. Now the people that's over there, Israel, that they say that's Israel or say they Jews, you know, they not in mourning. They got everything. They got a military might. They got billions of dollars. They got their own land. And what it say in Deuteronomy 28? It say we ain't gonna see their land. So how they Israel over there? That's how we know that the synagogue of Satan. They the synagogue of Satan. We know that they the fake Jews. But they say these Jews are gonna be in mourning. Keep going.
Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish.
What do it mean when gates of their language? Gates of their language is, you know, when you put a fence up. When you put a fence up around your house, what you do to put a fence up? Why you put a fence up around your house?
Keep stuff out.
Damn right, to keep stuff out. That's the reason why. So they say our gates are trotted down. We have no gates. Anybody can come upon us. We have no stronghold. We have no leaders speaking for us. MLK couldn't do it. Malcolm X couldn't do it. Louis Farrakhan, on down the line. We have no strong leaders. MLK, orgy. We call him Orgy Mike. Was having orgy with white women, telling us to hold hands with white folk. No segregation. Because when we was integrated, well, what did we have? We had Black Wall Street. We had a whole town thriving to the top, and then they bombed us. And what do MLK say? Integrate. Salaki, I said that wrong. He say segregate, but when we was integrated, you know, we had everything. He say, you know, integrate, you know, hold hands with, you know. And then what did he say? He felt like he leading us into the burning bush. And he know that he led us into a burning bush by integrating us with these monsters, with this devil. You know, and what happens now? We get murdered, killed, shot in the back. Police, it can be 50 police and one black man, and they all shooters. And they talking about they was intimidated. How I got 50 of y'all with guns, batons, dogs, everything, and there's one black man with no weapon, with no nothing, got a cell phone, and you shot him 92 times, saying that you was intimidated, you was scared. What is his brother? Was Superman? What was he, RoboCop? How would you? This what happens when MLK say integrate. This what happens. Now keep going.
We still on Jeremiah?
Come.
You want the rest of that?
Yeah, finish it up.
Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground.
They are what?
They are black unto the ground.
They are what?
They are black unto the ground.
They are black unto the ground. Christ is black, man.
And the cry of
Jude,
Jerusalem is gone up.
they was black. Judites were black. They was black. This is what you need to teach your kids. This is what you teach your kids. The Jews are black. Christ is black. Israel is black. And when I say black, I'm talking about the Hispanics and natives too. They are black too. Even if they don't want to call themselves black, even if their skin color ain't black. You know, black is something that's put on us. Cause even Negroes ain't the color black. We different shades of brown. Only people I seen that's actually the color of black is them stinking Africans. I seen this one where his face was black, his lips was black, his eyes was black, everything was black. That boy was just blacked out. But that's something that's put on us. Just like white people ain't really white. They're red. But that was something that put on because that's fairness. They put fairness on them and they put something negative on us. You know, at a point, you know what I'm saying? And you look in the dictionary under white, it say fairness or, you know, under the lines of that. If you look in there and say black, it say something that's something negative. So that was something that's put on us because we ain't actually in the color black. So it's saying Judah is black. Now let me get Songs of Solomon 1. Songs of Solomon 1 to 5. So we're gonna read about some more black folk. Let's go. So we're gonna read about some more black folk. Some more niggas.
5, chapter 5.
1 and 5.
1 and 5.
We're gonna read about some more, you know, that you should be teaching your kids. Right along with Harriet Tubman, you should be teaching this. You should actually teach this first. Because the Bible is black history. Go ahead.
The Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1.
Verse 5. Start 5.
My bad. Verse 5. I am black.
And what?
I am black.
Once again, just like Jeremiah 14 and 2. He said, I am black. Go ahead.
I am black, but comely.
But what?
But comely.
He said, I am black and beautiful. Go ahead.
O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
O ye daughters of Jerusalem. Go ahead.
As the tents of Kedar.
Tents of Kedar.
As the curtains of Solomon.
Hold that right there. Let's see if we got Kedar in the Bible dictionary. We'll read it. What is Kedar? I don't think they got Kedar in the Bible dictionary, but Kedar just means black, dark. Oh, Salaki, they got it right here. They say Kedar, probably either mighty or dark. One of the 12 sons of Ishmael, you know, son of Abraham by Hagar, but it says Kedar, probably either mighty or dark. So read that again, start at the beginning.
Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. I am black, but comely.
Yep.
O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
Yep.
As the tents of Kedar.
As the tents of darkness. Go ahead.
As the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me.
Yep.
Because I am black.
Because I am what?
Because I am black.
Don't look up on me because I'm a dark-skinned brother. Don't look up on me because of that. Don't look down on me. You know, because King Solomon was a black man. Christ was a black man. Judah was a black man, like we just read. Is that all?
Look not upon me, because I am black. Because the sun hath looked upon me.
Because the sun The sun have, giving me this tan, making me darker.
That's
But I'm still black. And currently, I'm still black and beautiful. Just because I'm out here in this heat, I'm getting the suntan. I don't want. I ain't like the brother was out there suntanning. The brother was out there doing his thing. Black folk, we outside doing our thing. We don't be out there suntanning. We out there playing basketball, working in the fields, mowing our grass. But we turn a little bit darker, just a little bit. He said, "Don't look up on because the sun look up on me. I'm still black and comely." He said, "Give me Acts 13:1." So we read about King Solomon, black man. Christ, black man. Judah, black man. Salaki, I should have went down rank and order.
Acts 13.
Actually, whole Acts 13 and give me Daniel 7 and 9. I should have did this one first. Salaki, rank and order. So we read about Christ, King Solomon, and Judah, which is the Negroes, being black. We about to read. We about to read about the all-time, the 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 top rank, the one who's above all.
Hey, we're always hiding from me in the back.
So, this is your black history right here. Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. This is your history. Daniel 7 and 9. This is your history right here.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
So it said, "I beheld till the thrones was cast down." So when the throne is cast down, this is who we about to read about. He's seen all the kings' thrones is cast down to the ground. All the kings of this day. All these white men that's running these nations. All this was cast down. Keep going.
And the Ancient of Days did sit.
Then who?
The Ancient of Days did sit.
So this is the Ancient of Days. Who we talking about here, brother?
The Most High.
The Most High. Obviously, he's an Ancient of Days. There's no beginning, no end with him. He has no beginning, so he's an Ancient of Days. He just lives forever. It was here forever. It's just forever with him. Keep going.
And the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow.
So this same garment that Christ had on, just warlike apparel. You want to call us Power Rangers, but then you calling the Most High Power Ranger. But hey, we'll take that. We Power Rangers. We superheroes. We the only one out here doing this for Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. Yes, we're superheroes. We gonna take this. Keep going.
And the hair of his head like the pure wool.
Same as Christ. The Most High hair was wool. Was woolly. He was a black man. He is a black man, Salaki. Not was, because he's forever. He's here. He is a black man. Same as Christ is a black man. If I say it was, Salaki. He is a black man. Because Christ is still here too. Go ahead.
His throne was like the fiery flame.
So he was on this chariot, and the chariot, if you look at it at a UFO, it looks like a fiery flame flowing around. But this was his throne. Keep going.
And his wheels as a burning fire.
So this is the chariot, speaking about the chariot, but this is the Most High, Yahweh in the Hebrew, who y'all call God, which only means power. That's it.
That's one.
Go ahead.
A fiery stream ensued and came forth from before him.
So this is the Most High, coming down. He done seen the thrones cast down. This is us going into our kingdom, the new Jerusalem, the new earth. and this is what he see. You know, I basically, I saying like he basically like, hey, this y'all now, this your time. Just have to follow these laws.
Oh yeah, I think that is it.
All right, now go to Acts 13:1 now. So that was the Most High. The Most High is a black man, woolly hair, and what does it say? Christ looked like Christ was a black man. Judah was a black man. King Solomon was a black man. If King Solomon was a black man, by default, King David was a black man, right? Because Numbers 1:18 say you are your father. So King David was a black man. If King Solomon was a black man, and King David was a black man, on down the line, on up the line, all black men. Go ahead.
Shit, 1, right? 13.
Acts 13:1.
Acts chapter 13, verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers,
Certain prophets and teachers,
as Barnabas and Simeon,
as Barnabas and Simeon. Go ahead.
that was called Niger.
Now get that Bible dictionary and pull out the definition of Niger. That's called Niger. These prophets that was in these schools. What was called Niger?
This is Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
The word is Niger.
Niger.
Niger. Yeah. Um, black.
What?
Black.
What?
Black.
So these prophets were called black. Black men that was in these schools. Simeon and Barnabas. They was called black. All right, you can go back to that scripture.
Okay.
You start from the top.
Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger, and
Niger.
and Lucius and Cyrene,
Mm-hmm.
and Manin, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul.
And that's a different Herod. That ain't King Herod. There was two different Herods. That's a different one. But point is, those prophets, and when they say prophets, Israel only holds the prophets. What's that? Deuteronomy 18:1 or 1:18. I'll select words at 18 and 18. Oh yeah, that was speaking of Christ. But only if you read that, only prophets are Israelites. It said raise up a prophet within your brethren. So only you know what I'm saying, what you're speaking about Christ. But only prophets are Israelites. So he said these prophets, which are Israelites, that was in this school, are black. King Solomon was black. These prophets was black. Christ is black. The Most High, it was black. Now we're gonna go into just a few more scriptures. Give me what we did. We did Daniel. We did both Daniels. We did. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 1 and 5. So now we're gonna go and show that the angels that fly around these chariots that y'all call aliens, which ain't no little green guys, ain't no little reptilians or humanoid or none of that. These is angels. that's always been with the Most High, and always gonna be angels. But let's see what these angels look like.
Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of four living creatures.
Four living creatures. Go ahead.
And this was their appearance.
This was their appearance. Go ahead.
They had the likeness of a man.
Uh-huh.
And every one had four faces.
Yep.
And every one had four wings.
Uh-huh.
And their feet were straight feet.
Yep.
And the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot.
Go ahead.
And they sparkled like in color of burnished brass.
Of what?
Of burnished brass.
Say that again.
And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass.
Burnished brass. Once again, what did they say about Christ? Brass. Derivative of brown. These angels is black, man. Awesome. Keep going.
And they had the hands of a man under their wings, and on their four sides, and they four had their faces and their wings.
Oh,
Their wing.
You can drop that.
Okay.
You can drop that. We're gonna go on to two more. Let's go to Acts 5:31. Somebody let me bring that up. That's it. Oh no, Salaki. Let's go to Job 30:30.
Job. Job chapter 30 verse 30.
Mm-hmm.
My skin is black upon me.
What?
My skin is black upon me.
Said my skin is black upon me. Once again, keep going.
My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat.
And my bones are burned with heat. Now this is once again Job, which is a black man. All these Israelites are black. Are black. Black Hispanic and Native American is the 12 tribes of Israel through prophecy, archaeology, history, on down the line. Y'all are the 12 tribes. So when you bringing up Black History Month, no, it should be Black History Year. Because this Bible is Black history. And it tells you the history about every nation, where they come from, where they at now, what happened. Actually, let me get one more scripture. Give me Deuteronomy 28:68. Because this is awesome. Not only you get this you can teach this is Black history. This is also Black history. Because if you go to any brother that's not in the truth, you ask them where they come from, they don't remember nothing past or nothing before the transatlantic slave trade. They don't know where they came from. Most of them think they're African. But you took it from Africa. But you ran there because you was from a certain area. But go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Well, what?
With ships.
So this is hold that right there, and go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Read that. Read 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15. Look down from thy holy habitation from heaven, and bless thy people Israel.
Hold on. Hold that. So that's not. Go to so I can find it. Was that
Oh,
20?
yeah, 28:15. No, my bad.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Go ahead.
27:15. 28:15. But it shall come to pass,
So this, when it says come to pass, this is a future prophecy. Go ahead.
if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Because it said if he will not hearken, remember 28:1 said if you will hearken, you will get these, special gifts. This said if you will not hearken, go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So it said all these curses. So this how you tell who's the Israelites. Reading through Deuteronomy chapter 28 on down. So we're just gonna bring out one of them. So go back to 68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Mm-hmm.
By the way thereof I spake unto thee.
So this is where he spoke unto him. Go ahead.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
We ain't gonna see it no more again. I don't know what you fake Jews over there doing, calling yourself Israel. Go ahead.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
So sold unto their enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. Go ahead.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man shall redeem you. Oh word. But actually, go back to that. Restart from the beginning again, because I want to show what Egypt is.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So this in case you confused on that word Egypt. Go to Exodus. Hold that and go to Exodus 20:2. Just in case you confused on that. Just in case you confused on that. So how because we was in bondage. We've been in bondage 5 times, 4 or 5 times. Babylonians. Oh, Babylonians.
Exodus
Egyptians.
chapter 20, verse 2.
Go ahead.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Out of what?
Out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt references house of bondage. Go ahead. Go back to 68.
Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So, and to house of bondage again with ships this time. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Yeah.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Shall see it no more again.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
So, Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. Right here. Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. You are the 12 tribes of Israel. Let me see this. This right here is your history book. Right here. So along with teaching them about Harriet Tubman, this is what you need to teach them about. What we just went over today. You need to teach them about Christ being black, the whole Israelites being black, the Most High being black, Christ being black, King David, King Solomon, on down the line. What did they say King Solomon had? Gold teeth. What did Samson have? Samson had cornrows, 7 cornrows to the back. You want to teach them all that history. You want to teach them all. And if you need questions, you can call your camp leader or whoever over your city. You know what I'm saying? This is ISUPK Lansing. Number is 517-993-8499. But you can call whoever over your city, and you get your questions learned, and then we need you to get in class every Tuesday through Friday, 7 through 9. Monday, General Yohana, Commanding General Yohana, has a radio show 9 to 11. The 12 share General Muhammad, who's right under him, has a show on Facebook, has a class on Facebook from 7 to 9. But besides that, we got classes every day, all day long. Every day and all day long. Shalom.